Hey, all my sexy bitches out there and all my juice heads, welcome to PFP 140. It is the evening of a beautiful, weather-wise, temperature-wise, beautiful Friday, November 6, 2020, on what has been probably one of the most exhausting weeks I can remember. And I ain't just talking about the election, but we'll get into that. So basically what happened was I had a whole slate of podcasts lined up for this week, and the consensus between the other people that were supposed to participate in the podcasts and myself was that we just don't have it in us. We're new at this. Not that that's an excuse, but when we do this, it's a hobby, and whether it blows up, whether it implodes, whether it stays in a plateau, hobbies are meant to be fun. And we've all came to the consensus that if we were to do this as planned out for this week, there would just be no fun in it. And I think the whole country probably agrees more or less with, obviously the whole country doesn't podcast, but they probably agree more or less with just the negative energy that's going on. And even last week I declared that I would do my best to have a What's Trending every Friday. And I thought, what better of a day to premiere to the masses my PFP, which is, So if you can't hear, I'm getting into my car. I'm actually driving to the Shoprite. I'm going to do a podcast shopping from the Shoprite if it goes long enough. But some asshole in a van who totally wasn't paying attention almost just fucking T-boned me. Probably, they were doing like 30 to 40 in a parking lot. And they could have clipped me if they weren't paying attention. It just worked out by the timing. That's what happens here in New Jersey. People drive with their fucking eyes closed, you would think. See, now I lost train of my motherfucking thought. See what happens when you gotta be surrounded by pieces of fucking shit? Nah, but I was just... I didn't mean to be so doom and gloom. But again, you might be asking, what is the PFP? And how come there's 139 episodes already done? Well, the PFP, folks, is the private fucking podcast. And I never intended for this to go to YouTube when I started it. I started this last year in 2019. Just as a gag, really, for my voice memos. That's why I called it the private fucking podcast. I would share some episodes with a couple people here and there, and they thought it was entertaining. And this has nothing to do with my endeavors now with this YouTube channel and the Rhubarb Show and all the other shows I do, the Juice Giorgio network on YouTube. This is in its own silo, but now I can kind of raise it from obscurity and share it with all the juice heads out there and all the sexy bitches that tune into the show, whether it's on Apple, Spotify, Google, Stitcher, or on YouTube. So I am excited about that. And these are just very loose shows where what I'm doing is I'm just taking a snapshot. That's why I say the date in the beginning. Unlike the other shows, obviously, when they're uploaded, it's more or less when they're recorded. But this is like a snapshot of kind of like where things are at the time of the recording. And again, just more assholes on the road. I'm on 46 now. Some guy just almost swerved into me because they want to change lanes to get on the 80 ramp so bad they don't care that there's other cars in their way. They were supposed to slow down and let me go and not try to just blindly switch lanes. But I've digressed again. So, in lieu of what's trending today, because, look, honestly, I've taken the week off from social media, even prior to the election. I've taken the week off from almost all of cable TV, which, I have YouTube TV. By technicality, I'm a cord cutter, but I get all the channels. So however you want to describe them. And I just really have just been trying to socially quarantine myself. And I'll tell you what happened also this week on Wednesday. So the election was Tuesday. The dumpster fire election was Tuesday night. into Wednesday morning. And then I found out Wednesday at around noon that my my boss of not super long, but long enough to be significant that I had a good relationship with, was let go for financial reasons to the company. That had nothing to do with him and his performance, because my line of work is very performance-based. So when you combine those two things, when you lose somebody that you have a good relationship with, and that's not to say my new manager, who was really the manager that hired me, that's not to say I don't have an existing awesome relationship with the other manager. It's just not a good feeling. I don't know how else to put it. No, I wasn't related to this guy. No, I don't have any stake in the relationship to be like to cry about it. But it just kind of when you juxtapose what happened Tuesday night into Wednesday morning with this and this, all within like 12 hours or whatever, it just gives you a weird, empty sort of a feeling, and it drains your energy. So like, I pride myself on being a pretty high energy guy. I try to do as many good podcasts as I can every week, because I'll tell you why. I'm a rookie at this. Now, the PFP's been around since, like I said, probably June or July of 2019. So, but that's still, even if you factor that in, I've only been doing anything like this for less than a year and a half. So I am a rookie at it. And it's not just about putting content out there to put out content. It's about putting good content out there. And that's what this is all about. And that's why I had a full slate this week, and I was so proud of it. I shared it with a bunch of people, because I was like, it's about, like I said, we try to put the best content out there, but you have to, at this stage, really get a good balance of getting the content out there, no matter what the quality. You always want it to be good, but you have to balance that out with, like a sport, and just getting your reps. Now, this is going to be interesting going into Shoprite and seeing how long the sound quality doesn't change. I really hope you can still hear me. If not, I will break this up into pieces. But I'll try. I'll go for as long as I can in here, and we'll see what happens. So you might be asking what the PFP is, and I know I've touched on that before. But why did I start it? Now, I started the PFP because 2019 was essentially my 2020. And I didn't really feel like 2020 hit home to me too bad. It definitely fucked a lot of things up with my business for work. But aside from that, I had went through a few things in 2019 that really made 2020 feel like a cakewalk so far. So, to make a long story short, I'm not going to bore you to death with my problems from the past. But my former employer was putting the screws to me. And I like to say all I ever did was what they asked me to do. But in many cases, if some people have it out for you, the powers that be, no matter where you are, no matter what industry, they're either going to find a way to make your life miserable till you quit. They're going to find something, for some reason, to fire you. Or something in between, I guess. So I diligently found the employer I'm with now, and that took away some of the financial stress. And actually, somehow in 2020, I still had my best career year so far, somehow, some way. So that's a good thing. But nothing's worse than financial anxiety, maybe relationship anxiety. And so I did have a couple personal things that kind of snowballed with that, with the job anxiety, that sort of just put a damper on things. And then the icing on the cake for my 2019 was I went to go visit a friend in Florida the weekend between Christmas and New Year's. And when I got home, my apartment was just engulfed in flames. So to make that go from bad to worse, not only did I have nothing to do with that fire happening, it was caused by an uncle that I've been close with my whole life that's only 10 years older than me. And it turns out he accidentally set the fire and unfortunately didn't have the wherewithal to just get out of the apartment when it was erupting. So he did not make it. So it was a shit year, is my point. But I like to try to laugh about it as much as I can, because you can't dwell on the past. You can just take the lessons and move on. You know, even COVID, you know, like I said, my 2019 was so bad, right to the end of it, right from the beginning to the end, because I started getting harassed at my job like in January. Because after holiday season is when like they take off their nice guy masks. They're like, okay, you either survive through Thanksgiving, and they give you like a grace period, but then after New Year's, all bets are off. I noticed that at a lot of companies. You know, which is cool. Like, if you're resilient, you'll get on your feet and you should be fine. And especially in my industry, if you're not resilient, you need to find a different industry. Because nobody's going to get out of your fucking way, like in the Shoprite. No, but if you're resilient, actually, I'm glad I said that. If you're resilient, nobody's going to get in your way. By the way, the people in here are so rude. They pretend like there's nobody else around them. It's like driving, like on my way here. That asshole that almost T-boned me just pretended like there couldn't be any other cars on the road, so I'm just going to do whatever the fuck I want. I hate people. But I've digressed again. But yeah, no, if you have any kind of resiliency, no one's going to get in the way of you getting another job for what I do. So that was my 2019, and that's why my 2020 hasn't been super bad. Like I said, it screwed me work-wise, but it also, my sleeping patterns have just never been consistent. And I was really good, as bad as my 2019 was, I was really good at just getting up at 5 a.m. and banging out a workout at the gym, getting to the office by 8 on the days I had to be in the office. And this year really fucked that up between gyms closing, and I had like 3-4 weeks where I didn't even know what to do workout-wise. I would just go to the park and jog. And then, luckily, I had a neighbor that turned me on to like $30 bags of resistance bands where you can kind of replicate a weight training workout. So at least I was able to have some semblance of normalcy and spend some time outside and get some vitamin D, because I'm not a huge outdoor person to begin with. So one good thing about 2020 is I probably spent more time outside than, or just as much time I've spent outside since I've been in high school. So that's always a plus. And just staying positive has been a challenge, and as I'm sure it's been a challenge for everybody this year. But and the next time I hear somebody say new normal, I'm going to want to rip their fucking head off, right? There shouldn't be any new normals. All right, we got to regain the right to not have to wear a mask. I'm wearing a mask right now in the Shoprite. I actually did a test recording with the mask on to make sure that it would sound okay. And I had to drive here with the mask on to record it because I didn't want to be shifting my outfit when I was coming in here. But now that we got 2019 and 2020 so far out of the way, I'd be remiss to not talk about Tuesday night a little bit. But I think, here's what I think. I think if you think there's nothing shady about this, you need to rethink reality. Because, let me try to think how to put this. What happened in 2000 was one thing. That was one area of one state that was very sloppy with this stuff until recently, to be honest with you. And still really are, if you look at the last gubernatorial race, which I think was 2018 from there. Very sloppy in terms of the way it was handled. But to have what happened in multiple states, for them to just stop counting at a certain time in the middle of the night, and then resume counting again when hundreds of thousands of votes only go towards one side, to not at least question whether or not that's normal. If you're not questioning, then again, I don't know if you're just a partisan. I don't know if it's just about my team has to win, team red or team blue. It's about the integrity of this whole process. This is about what makes our country. And if you take away people's opinions of there being integrity or not, people are going to start to question if we actually do live in a free country. Because this is looking more and more like something a banana republic would do, right? The United Bananas of America is where we're headed. So we'll see how it shakes out. I'm not going to enlighten anybody with anything new in terms of information, right? I don't know anything that the experts don't know. But I will tell you, it just, for me, at least as an American, and I don't think it matters what side you're on. You see what's happening, and it just gives you that upset feeling in your stomach. Not because it's about my guy winning or losing, because I haven't hid that I would like the incumbent to win, but it's about the way he's going to go down if he goes down. And you got to, and people are going to tell me that on the other side that are so partisan, that there's nothing shady about it, and it's 100% accurate, and 100% in terms of integrity. And I just look at what happened, like from a factual point of view. And if you're not going to draw the conclusion that something doesn't smell right, that something's a little funky, then someone I grew up with told me, the people get the government they deserve. And I'm just going to leave it at that. Hopefully the sound didn't sound too bad here in Shoprite. But again, I just wanted to get a PFP out there. I was slated to do a bunch of podcasts this week. And again, the gas just wasn't in the tank to do something that's supposed to be a hobby and supposed to be fun. And then, have what happened this week. It sort of, I think it took the wind out of a lot of people's sails in this whole country. Not just there. We already know New Jersey's corrupt. This state is so corrupt, it's not even worth putting up a fight if you think something's not right. This state's long gone, and it's got a reputation globally for being the most corrupt state in the union. And people, places, and things get reputations for a reason. And that's all I'll say about that. So what I will tell you is the sun's going to rise tomorrow. There's going to be football this weekend, and we will be doing live from the crib in Parsippany, episode 6 of the NFL Boycott Club, unless my co-host has an issue, which I don't think he's gonna. We will be bringing episode 6 to you. That'll be a lot of fun, and we'll come back with more content next week, for sure. I think we just all needed a little bit of time to just sort of just catch up with reality here and like what's going on. Because it's pretty nuts. This is definitely unprecedented. I just had a bunch of sodas crash in my car. Hey, that's what happens when you go live at ShopRite. All right, but with that said, as always, stay safe, sexy bitches out there. And thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time on the PFP. Who knows what episode it'll be. Talk to you later. Ciao.